We have spoken to children of incarcerated parents from all over the country on their successes and resiliency despite the many ups and downs they may have. Within our national study, interviewees have stated that their social supports help them achieve what they define as success. We want to provide opportunity for people to hear them in their own words of who supported them during their tough times. I will turn it over to our interviewee who will share their experience about who helped them through the tough times that they had.
Mm. Man, that is such a great question. Because I feel like, when you're just going through things, you don't realize all of the angels that are sent to you along the way. And so I think like I want to start with, God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. And I think everything that I have experienced growing up and being with my mom, whether she was incarcerated or when she was released, um, just has made me the person that I am today. And I don't take anything away from that. And I wouldn't want to relive it in any other kind of way. Um, and so I'm truly grateful just for my experiences and to just be here today and to just have this conversation, period. And I think like, as far as support, I mean, obviously, I think one of the biggest things to talk about here is, just because some parents may be incarcerated, does not mean that they are absent from their child's life. You have a lot of women who are behind these walls and a lot of sisters who are behind these walls, um, who are really good parents, and majority of them are caregivers, and are mothers. And by nature, um, women always just want to take care of their children. And, my mom being like one of my biggest support systems throughout my upbringing, whether she was there or whether she was on the phone, or whether she was there or if it was written letters, or if she was at work, then I was in her car waiting until her shift was over. Or if she was trying to go to college after she got released, I was in the classroom under her desk in the class while she was going to school. I was there every step of the way with my mom, and she was there every step of the way with me. And I think she has been one of my biggest support systems ever. And along the way, I've been really grateful to have people along the way who have also helped me too. And I think a big transformation in my life was when I went to college, but also in high school. In high school, I wasn't the I wasn't your ideal student. I didn't want to go to college, actually. I wanted to be a makeup artist, and that's what I thought my life was going to be. I didn't see myself being this advocate and this activist and working on criminal justice reform issues at all. So at 16, if you asked me, I'd say, oh, I want to do celebrities makeup. That's what I wanted to do. But I think like during my high school career and also during my middle school career, I was involved in, I guess you would say, just like sometimes the wrong crowds, or I was just kind of a rebellion in a sense. And because of that, I had detention very often, or I had after school suspension, those kinds of things. But I think a big part of that too was just because of, thinking introspectively about the situation. It was one, not having a father around, and, having my mother being incarcerated so many times, and kind of being raised almost, with your grandma for a long period of time as well. All of that has to do with children's behaviors when there's things are going on at home, right? And I'll never forget, when I was in middle school, my one coach, she wasn't my coach, but she turned into my coach, saw me in detention, and she pulled me out of detention, and she said, what's going on? Is everything okay? And that was the first time someone actually asked me if I'm okay. Like, I don't think anyone really knew what was going on at home. I don't think anyone knew about my situation with my mom, or, what we were going through. And so for the first time, I felt like almost seen, in a sense, by someone else other than, my mom. And she was like, come take a walk with me. And I said, okay, I'm going to leave the tension, but okay. So I walk with her, and she takes me to the gym, and she pulls out this field hockey stick and a field hockey ball. And she said, tryouts are next week. I want you to try out for the team, and I want you to play. I was like, only Black girl at this school with all these white girls. And I'm like, I'm not about to play field hockey. One, I've never played field hockey. And I'm definitely not about to be the only Black girl on this team. I'm going to look crazy running around with this stick. But so I didn't have really an ultimatum. It was either, you keep going to detention, you keep getting in trouble, or like you do something to get you out of trouble and make your time productive and get involved, right? And that was one of the most life-changing moments of my life. And my coach, I don't want to say her name, but I will never forget her, because from there, I've been playing field hockey for 10 years now. And then I went on to play field hockey on a collegiate level. But, playing sports was a huge factor in keeping me involved with the right people, keeping me really balanced and leveled, and managed my time very well. So I didn't have a lot of time to really engage in any type of really like negative activities. And so that was one person that really did help along the way. And I think the reason that it helped me, or that person supported me so much, was because it was the start of a whole entire journey that I didn't know. And also, in addition to that, someone really asking if I was okay, and genuinely asking that, because I don't think we do that at all anymore. You have kids, like when I was in Philly and I was working in Philly, I was working with high schoolers, and one of my jobs was doing a victim outreach project. And a big part was, these teachers were complaining about how the kids were just acting out, or like back talking, or sleeping in class. And I asked, one of the kids, and I was just like, just ask them, like, is everything okay? How are you doing? But like really being interested in what's going on in someone's life, because you never know, like, that this child could have lost someone last night. This child may not have had dinner. The mom could have been working late. The mom might be working 2-3 jobs and doesn't have time to be home. You know what I mean? And so you have like the big sister or the big brother taking care of all their siblings. So they've been up all night trying to take care of the family. Or even simple things, maybe not like having clean clothes or a wash, or having access to a washer and dryer. It's like people don't think about these things. It's like, there are people who are really struggling and are trying to do their best with what they have. And we forget to ask the most simple questions just to check to see if someone's okay, and how much that can go for a long way. And I just say that because it really changed my life for someone just to ask me how I was doing, and to really listen to me, and for me to be able to trust them, to let them know, like, I'm actually not doing that great. I'm borderline going homeless. My mom is struggling to find a job because she's just got released from prison. And, we're living in a basement right now. So yeah, like things aren't going that great. Thank you for asking. But, I had a lot of people along the way that have been very supportive. Whether it was my coach or coaches, or if it was my professors, who have written me recommendation letters, or who have helped me to write a resume, or have just been there as a listening ear. And so I think, you know, I obviously cannot do anything that I do by myself. And I think another support system that you can't really see is the power of prayer. That goes a very long way. When you are going through things in life, you would be very surprised um, what you speak out into the world and what can come back if you really believe in it.
Well, thank you. That was amazing. I think touching on some of the things you said, I feel as though people, once you put the statistic that, children of incarcerated parents are going into the system and you kind of disregard them, right? They're like, oh, they're going to go in the system. Don't put them any resources into them, right? And
Hmm.
so what you're saying, like just asking if they're okay, people just outreaching to this population, because a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just kind of do a hands-off approach, like, they're just going to be as bad as their mom or their dad
Right.
or those type of things, and not investing in the children. And as you said, it can go a long way just asking, are you okay? To
Hmm.
help them mentally, even to talk about it, because it's kind of a
Hmm.
stigma for us to even talk about our feelings.
Exactly.
And so that doesn't help. So like
Truly.
actually, saying how are you feeling, and actually, putting, and there's people out in the community, like you were saying, coaches, professors, stuff, that actually do care
Yeah.
and will go out their way to help people. In addition to their parents, even if they were incarcerated, formerly incarcerated, like parents are also a support system. And
Hmm.
people, we like to do the narrative that they're estranged and these families are torn apart and they have no
Hmm.
contact, when it's like you do have contact, or that you have very good relationship with your parent, before, after, and during. And
Yeah, no,
so,
it's real. Like I can't even tell you. So like I remember when it was my last year of college. In my last year of college, and you know, I was working fucking 4 jobs to just like help my mom with the tuition. And I was an RA, so I was blessed to like not have to pay for housing. But I'll never forget, we couldn't pay for like the last semester. And you know, they had fired me from being an RA because I had missed a meeting because I was at a field hockey game, right? And I'll never forget this. I went to the office to the dean of students, and she was like, "Yeah, we got to let you go." And I was like, I started crying because I was like, I'm in my senior year. I was like, I don't have money to afford this. I was like, the only thing that's really helping me is that I am an RA. You know what I mean? Like if you're taking this away from me, like you are literally pulling me out of college after doing this for so long. And it would be such a waste because I was at a field hockey game, right? So I remember I told my coach about it. Told my coach about it. My coach went to the dean's office, and I called my mom too. So my mom was, mind you, I'm in Delaware. My mom's in Philly. And so I called my mom and I was like, yo, like they're trying to kick me out of college. Like, cause I missed the meeting, but I was at a hockey game. And I was like, my coach, her name was Coach Short. I was like, Coach Short is going up to the office to advocate for me. Coach Short goes to the office and they're like, you know, we will she could be, we're gonna give her like last pay or whatever, but like she can't be an RA after this semester. Da 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 da. So I was like, well, what am I gonna do? Because now I don't have a place to live because I was living in the dorm. So my coach literally moved me in her home, and then gave me a job working with the athletic office, and then I was working in the cafeteria at Airmark. So that, and then I got hired as to be a psychology tutor, and then after that I was doing like social media management for like Airmark. So I was doing all this, but like if I didn't have my coach advocate for me, I probably wouldn't have finished college. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then on top of that, like she gave me a place, she gave me her home, like her bed to like sleep in. Like that's crazy to me because it's like, you know, there's not that many people that would do that to someone that they don't really even know. You know what I mean? Like she just knew me off of the strength of me being on the team, but it was just like stuff like that right there, man. Like you don't forget those kind of people. But I wanted to bring up the whole field hockey thing just because like it really did change my life so much. Like after I started playing hockey, I wasn't like getting in trouble no more. Like I wasn't trying to skip school. Like it was so crazy, like the transformation of just like what it did to my like to my lifestyle. It completely changed everything.
Yeah, sometimes it takes that one person, like, you know, that like not a lot of people go out their way and just like go down to the dean's office. Like, here you can have a place to stay, like for your
Yeah,
last semester. Not a lot of people do that nowadays. And so
no,
it's amazing for someone that, you know, barely knew you kind of personally to just be like, here, let me open up my door for you. So it's just like it's
exactly.
yeah, it's just like people don't give children of incarcerated parents like opportunities like that, you know,
Mhm.
just like, oh, because they were in, you're just going to be a bad person and all this other
Exactly.
stuff and label you as something. And it's just like, no, they can be successful. You just got to kind of point them in the right direction. And, you know,
Mhm.
Black and brown children in general aren't getting enough resources or not getting
Yep.
enough mentorship in general. And so it's like, it's a lot of people within our study talked about, you know, those people that have helped them or like those opportunities that they got just by the people in their community and the fact that the community is strong. Like people will look out for you and,
Yeah,
you
they
know, do all
will.
this.
And like even it's so important to have white allies, man. I tell you, because even in college, like I was still the only Black girl on the team. But it was just, you know, like to have people like that. And still to this day I still stay in contact with her, you know what I mean? Like she's like, text me, how you doing, you know, she like we still talk. And you can't forget about those people.
Well, I want to thank you for sharing. You did brought up some very good points. And for all of you that have listened, if you want to listen to more videos, check out our website, drmuhammadexperience.com. And thank you again.